Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Thursday and time for Take 5, so let's jump right in. This week we've been talking about the story of Nehemiah and those Israelites rebuilding the city of Jerusalem and rebuilding that wall there. And the title of our message has been just simply, straight from the mouth of Nehemiah, Arise and Build. We've been talking about how this story relates to our life, how it was a representation of not just something great that they did, but it was a representation of how you and I often, even though we're saved, will sometimes allow sin to remain in our lives. We'll allow the ruins and the consequences of sin and the rubble of sin to remain in our lives without doing anything about it. We've talked about how rebuilding our life, rebuilding a godly life from the ruins of sin is good work, and how if we're going to do that, we have to have a mind to work. Today, I want to talk about the second really important thing that you've got to do if you're going to rebuild your life from the rubble of sin. If you're going to rebuild a godly life from the rubble of sin, you can't listen to the noise. Listen to me. Don't listen to the noise. I want you to understand that whenever you start trying to make changes in your life, whenever you start trying to change things so that you can live a more godly life, whenever you start trying to repair your marriage, and whenever you start trying to overcome sin, and whenever you start trying to really get close to God and stop dilly-daddling around with Him, and whenever you really get serious about bettering your financial system and bettering your relationship with your kids and whatever your area of your life you're working on, when you get serious about it and you start taking the one stone from rubble and you start building that thing, I want you to understand that there's going to be a lot of noise from the outside coming in at you. People are going to try to stop you. People are going to think you're crazy. People are going to think you're weird. People are going to ask you, why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? Why are you getting up early to spend time with God? Why are you not spending the money you once spent? Why are you giving 10% to the church? Why are you going to counseling with your husband or your wife? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Because it seems weird to them. And the truth is, they don't want you to win. But you've got to make sure, you've got to determine in your heart that you will not listen to the noise. You cannot allow any person to talk you out of rebuilding your life in a godly way. You've got to set in a determination in your heart that you're going to build and build and build every day of your life, no matter what anybody says. If you read this story here in Nehemiah, the Bible tells us that as the people began to rebuild, that there were a couple of neighbors, enemy neighbors around them that came. It talks specifically about these two guys named Sanballat and Tobiah. And these two guys were they played a pivotal role in trying to really stop Israel from rebuilding the city of Jerusalem. The Bible actually tells us that as the Israelites were rebuilding this wall, that Sanballat and Tobiah came by and acted like a bunch of middle school boys and picked at them and made fun of them. The Bible says that they jeered at them and they mocked them. And they tried to distract them from the work, and they tried to discourage them from doing the work, and they tried to do everything they could to get the work stopped. They even at one point wrote a letter to the king and tried to they kind of fibbed and lied and made up a story and tried to get him to stop the work. And then when that didn't work, they just doubled down on their peer pressure. Why are you building this wall? Why are you doing this? This is crazy. The rubble is too high. The destruction is too great for you to rebuild. You're not skilled enough to rebuild it. You don't have the manpower to rebuild it. You can't do it. At one point, and this I thought this was just so real. At one point, Tobiah actually looked and said, Sanballat, don't worry about them. They'll rebuild this wall, but they can't do it well enough. When they get this wall rebuilt, if a fox were to crawl up on top of the wall, this thing will crash down and crumble. So they were trying to do everything they could to discourage the work from being done. Now, how does that relate to me and you? Well, the moment you begin to start making changes in your life, I know you have experienced this before. Trust me, you will again. People are going to start saying, "Why are you doing that? You know your daddy struggled with that sin, son. You're gonna struggle with it too. He just passed it right on down to you. You're not going to be able to lose weight and start stewarding your body well, and you're not going to be able to do that. You've always tried diets, but you just can't do it. You know you can't do it. I know you can't do it. Yeah, I don't know why you even try to rebuild your marriage. You know that man you're married to, he's just nasty. He ain't worth a dime. I don't know why you're doing that. Over and over and over, people are going to try to hinder you and discourage you from the work. Some people do it intentionally. Some people just do it because they are victims themselves and they don't want to see other people win. But it doesn't matter. You've got to determine in your heart that you will not listen to the outside noise. No matter what anybody says, no matter how anybody tries to discourage you, just have a mind to work. And stone by stone, day by day, get up and build your life in a godly way. Get up and rebuild the ruins of your life into something that God would be honored and pleased by. Don't listen to the noise. The Bible tells us that Israel's response to Sanballat and Tobiah's mockery, and then Sanballat and Tobiah got some groups of people together and they actually attacked Israel. They actually physically attacked them. And the Bible tells us that Israel's response was this, that every man held his hammer in one hand and his sword in the other. They didn't stop the work. They didn't hide behind the wall. They didn't crouch in fear. They said, let me tell you something. If you want to fight, we're going to work with one hand. And if you come to fight, baby, we're ready for you with the other. We're not stopping the work. You cannot listen to the outside noise. The truth is, though, there's more than just one type of person that'll try to discourage you from the work. You got to make sure you don't listen to the noise that other people are bringing at you, but you also got to make sure that you don't listen to your own thoughts and emotions and feelings. Because you know, all of you have experienced it before when you try to make changes in your life, how you'll tell your own self, you can't do it. You've never been able to stick to that diet. You've never been able to overcome that anger. You've never been able to control your mouth. You've never been able to do it. Your mama was that way. She passed that curse down to you. You're going to be the same way. You can't do it. I know you want to do it, but it's just not in you. And after a while, if you continue to allow your own thoughts to drown out your work, it will become your identity. And you'll stop trying to rebuild your life altogether. You can't listen even to your own thoughts and emotions. You've got to determine in your heart, I'm going to work. I'm going to rebuild my life. And then the last person that always tries to stop the work, that always tries to hinder us and get us to get distracted and be discouraged from the work is Satan himself. You know, anytime you've tried to make changes, a godly change in your life, you've tried to grow in your relationship with God, you know without a doubt that the enemy always comes with his lies, telling you the same thing. You can't do it. You're not good enough. God doesn't love you. You can't do it. You've not done enough to earn his love. Over and over, all kinds of different lies. Listen, I want you to understand something. He is a liar. Jesus said in John 8:44, Jesus said that everything that Satan says is a lie. It's in his very character to be a liar. Jesus called him the father of lies because all he does is lie. And so when you're rebuilding your life from the ruins of your sin, you can't listen to the outside noise. You can't listen to other people. You can't listen to yourself. You can't listen to Satan. Don't listen to the noise. Have a mind to work. Just rebuild. Hey, I hope you have a great day today. I'll see you again right here tomorrow. Make sure you come back for one more day. Let's wrap this thing up, put a bow on it, and live it out. Have a great day today. I'll see you again right here tomorrow on Take 5.